You are listening to episode 131 of the Confident Coaches podcast, the one where we break down your path to 100K. Let's do it. Welcome to the Confident Coaches podcast, a place for creating the self-confidence you need to do your best work as a life coach. If you want to bring more boldness, more resilience, and more joy to your work, this is the place for you. I'm your host, Amy Latta. Let's dive in. Oh, coaches. Hi. How are you? Oh my goodness. I'm kind of busting at the seams right now. I'm a little bursting. I'm going to try not to spooge my enthusiasm all over you, or maybe I will. No. We're breaking down frameworks in this episode, okay? So no, I'm exuberant. I'm a little over the top. I am so stinking excited. That's not even the right words. I have had a ginormous transformation in the past couple of weeks, and you are reaping the benefit. And it starts with this episode right here. So I've been alluding to, and I have mentioned on the podcast, that a new mastermind was coming. And it's finally time to share. It's time to share the good news, my friends. If you haven't caught wind, Confident Coaches Mastermind is no more. That program has come to completion. That program, literally over 100 coaches went through that program, came out the other side more confident. Many of those clients are six-figure coaches today and beyond. They are sharing their gifts for the world. I could not be more proud of that program, what we accomplished in that program. And it's time for it to go to sleep. It's time to put it to bed because now there's a new game in town. So Confident Coaches Mastermind has gone away. It is no more. And in its place are two new programs. These programs have such clear parameters for who they are for, who they aren't for, and exactly why you should be in this one or in this one. Now, obviously, you know about free to paid coach, and now we have Path to 100K Mastermind. So either exactly what you need to sign your first consistently paid clients or what you need to scale to 100K. And this is what you're going to get in these programs. And now anybody that comes into the world of Confident Coaches, I'm going to be able to say, absolutely, I can help you. This is the best place for you. I don't need to keep talking about free to paid coach. I've talked plenty about that. I will happily field any questions around free to paid coach. But Path to 100K is the new mastermind. So we have burnt Confident Coaches Mastermind down to the ground, and I'm literally building this new mastermind, Path to 100K, from scratch. From all of the pieces that I have still laying around, from brand new things I've never introduced, and I'm compiling something that simply hasn't existed in the world before. And I want you not to just listen and think about, oh, is this for me? But I want you to also notice what it means to burn a framework down and build something new in its place. How that right there can be such an act of rebellion to you, to your mind, and to the industry. And it's absolutely where I want to take you to become that person that can do that. Because that's what's going to connect you to your essential self stream. That's what's going to put your purpose out into the world. Okay, so I remember when I was in this place. Okay, so I'd done the kind of more free to paid coach work. I had evidence that I could sign clients. I knew how to throw lots of spaghetti at the walls and noticing what was and what wasn't sticking, right? And I did have the inherent belief that I could make 100K. I knew I could do it. I wasn't in doubt all of the time. It doesn't mean I never had doubt. It just meant that I knew inherently more days than not. I knew that 100K was possible for me. I just had no idea how. And more of the same of what I was doing felt like a lot. I was well, the only thing I know how to do is throw all the spaghetti at the walls and see what sticks and what doesn't stick. And I know how to do this, and I know I can do this to figure out how to sign clients. That's what we do in free to paid coach, right? We figure out what spaghetti sticks and doesn't stick on the wall for you. And I was like, but I can't keep doing that. Like, this seems like there has to be an easier way to scale this to 6 figures, to scale this to 100K. So here are some other things that were going on. So I was like, okay, I kind of know how to do this. I see what's kind of working and what's not working, but this feels like a lot of effort. And I can't imagine doubling this, quadrupling this, like 10 times overing this to hit that 6 figures. That seems like way more than, there's got to be a different way. I also noticed that I kept getting coached on the same stuff over and over again and like landing back in the same place. Like I knew I could do it. I had the belief that I could be a 100K coach, and I was crazy scared and still sabotaging myself along the way. There was still a lot of starting and stopping and a lot of indulging in exhaustion. Remember the exhaustion double down episode I did not too long ago? And for really fun shits and giggles, I was then beating myself up as to why I was doing that. So not only was I sabotaging myself, I had this like meta model, this model on top of a model where I was beating myself up for sabotaging myself. Like that's a super fun game right there that we play, right? And I know that raise your hand right now if that sounds familiar. You see yourself engaging in a behavior that you know that's not helping, so then you go beat the shit out of yourself for engaging in that behavior, which is also not helping, by the way, in case you were wondering. I know, I'm the queen of that, which is why I know how to get you to stop doing it, which is why I feel so confident that I can help you stop doing that, because that was like my favorite power move right there. I also knew, like more than I knew I could do it, I had the knowing that I couldn't not do it and understand the difference between those two things. Knowing, yeah, I can totally do this versus I can't not do this. That's a deeper why right there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can totally do this. And I totally understood that the universe wouldn't have put this in me if I couldn't do it. Free to Paid Coach is that entry program that I needed when I was a brand new stinking coach and I just had no idea how to get paid. Which actually, I was a brand new coach who didn't know how to get paid for like 3-4 years. Like I was kind of out there kind of flailing around a little bit. And that's what Free to Paid Coach was perfect for. And that's why I created that, because that was the program I needed back then. And I found my way into masterminds that were dedicated to getting me to that 6-figure mark. And they were brilliant programs that I learned so much from. And also, and this is where I want you to really pay attention to what I'm saying here. Not only were they brilliant and not only were they great programs and they got me to where I am today, I also know that I would do it differently if I could do it again. And this is where you're going to find your path to 100K will end up looking different than my path to 100K. This is the program that I know would have gotten me there further, farther, faster than the programs that I have been in all of these years. And it starts with first what I have really become a master at. Not just I am a master certified coach, but I've really become a master at deep under the surface coaching. Like this is where you keep getting coaching on the same thing over and over again, which is a concept I call hula hoop thoughts in Free to Paid Coach. But you just keep landing on the same place. Like I have mastered the ability to help you go below the surface. Like if there's a river of misery on top, I can help you identify the undercurrent underneath that. And let's talk about that shit. So that maybe that river of misery doesn't have to be quite so fucking miserable. Like I can help you go below that surface to find the undercurrent of that same stuff that you keep getting coaching on so that you can really let it go for once and for all. This is like when I kept landing on inadequacy. And I needed something to help me go below the surface to really find the source of that inadequacy so I could stop telling that story. I know how to do that today. And I didn't know how to do it back then. And not all of my coaches were equipped to help me do that. They were just like, just drop that story and let's keep going. I'm like, okay, but I'm still holding my hula hoop over here. And I think I'm going to take it with me. I now know how to address that deep under the surface coaching, under the like that undercurrent coaching, because I myself had to do that. And then we come at the patriarchal and hierarchical structures of your thinking and rewriting those structures. Like this is like we understand that our Helga brain, that is your cave woman primitive brain, your amygdala, your lizard brain, we know that she's scaring us to keep us in the cave. But why is she scared? What are the rules that she is attempting to follow and forcing us to follow that she just believes are factual and true, and she just keeps spouting them off to us from every corner of the room that we're in? Like no matter where we are, she's there, right? I talk a lot about patriarchal structures in the past couple of months, and Free to Paid Coach, inside that program, you learned how to identify that thinking and just start recognizing that it's there. And oh, now I understand why. In the mastermind level, in the path to 100K level, we're actually working to rewrite those patriarchal structures so that you can make conscious choices moving forward. Like if you truly dismantled the patriarchy in your brain and built new structures, what would you build from there? This episode is an example of that. We're going to talk more. I'm going to be using the word framework in a little bit, and we're going to have another episode about frameworks. But that right there, what would you build? Because so many of us are building coaching practices within patriarchal and hierarchical structures. And I want to be really clear. I'm not here, this program is not here to help you create a feminist business. If that's what you want, I'm 100% on board, but I want you to see that I am looking at these feminist principles to help you identify these structures so that you can decide if you want to keep them or if you want to throw them the fuck out because you actually can. And what would that look like for you? We've been talking a lot about freedom and freeing inside the mastermind lately, as we've been talking about frameworks. It's really been having a good time with this, by the way. So what would you build if those structures weren't there? And then from that place of knowing that you can't not do this and that the universe or God or spirit wouldn't have put this dream or goal in you if you didn't have what it takes to accomplish it. This is where I actually show you how to connect with that essential self. And we're going to be talking a lot more about that also. Like you might call this your soul, your soul's purpose, your spirit, the spirit of your business. Really what it is you in your purest form as you were meant to be on earth before all of the shit was piled on top. That version of you was the one that had the dream to begin with. Let's say you connected to that version of you because that's the version of you that has all the answers. Now, we have frequently coached about this as future you, which future you is a lot of work that we do in the free to paid coach level, but essential self is deeper than just you in the future. I actually see essential self as who you were in the womb and when you were born before all the shit was piled on. Like we've been coached of like, here you are, and we're only going to look forward and we're only going to talk to future you. And I'm like, yeah, but you where you are now are shackled in these frameworks and these structures. It's going to be much easier to get to future self if we dismantle all that shit. And then we're more in alignment with that original self, that essential self. It's like you dismantle the structures and it's like a fast track to future you. So this is taking future you in an entire, like we're turning it on its head. At the mastermind level, you are actually going to get exercises and techniques that you can use, activities you can engage in that actually get you in touch with that version of you that has the knowing. Like this is your grounded source. I want you to imagine that when all else is in chaos and you don't know what the heck to do and nothing's going your way and no one is responding to your calls to action and you're running webinars and people aren't showing up, or they are showing up and they're loving it, but they're still not signing up with you. You're going to know how to get in touch with your grounded source at any moment. And that's what you need so that you can keep going. It's really super fun too. That's the other thing that all of this is wrapped into is like, this is fun. We take all the seriousness and like the do or die-ness out of this. And we just have a hell of a lot of fun in this space also. Because really what we're doing is we're developing the brain of a 100K earner. Because listen, making 6 figures as a coach, making $100,000, it's freaking fabulous. Anybody who tells you that it's not, or that's not, like money isn't fun, they're lying. Okay? Because it means freedom for so many people. It opens up so many doorways. It allows you to think about what else you want to do in the world. And for many people, it's the sign of having made it. It opens doorways to being a full-time coach, because you don't have to be a full-time coach in order to work with me. That is not what this program is. But one thing I am absolutely sure that Path to 100K is not going to do, it's not going to solve for you being a human being that you are. And you're going to need that brain of a 100K earner for those times when you have a 5-figure month and Helga just wants to tell you it's a fluke. Or you're going to want to give credit for your success to something outside of you. Like, it's so amazing on the path to 100K, how much of your success you're going to not want to own. And this is part of being human. And having the brain of a 100K earner is going to help you solve for that too. And this is the work that we're going to be doing in Path to 100K. So there is a very simple process in Path to 100K. By the way, it is 6:00 on a Tuesday after it's been raining all day, and my lawn guy is outside mowing right now. He normally comes during the day. So if you hear loud buzzing noises, I'm fine. There's just a lawnmower outside my window. So there actually is a very specific process. Like, I'm kind of like giving you like an element of like the essence of it and how I'm going to show up. But here's the actual process, right? So in Path to 100K, you're going to learn how to replicate what is working in your business. You have good results. You have some results that are good. You're going to learn how to identify them, figure out how you created them so that you can replicate them. Take full responsibility for all of those results that you have already created. Like, you figured out which spaghetti sticks to the wall. So how can you, like, let's replicate that sticking. You're also going to identify and stop doing what's not working in your business. Even if you love it. Like, a lot of you guys put a lot of energy into things that you love, but has no return. It's just something fun that you do, and you put a lot of energy into it, and then you're upset at the results that you have. Some of you are doing shit that you don't love and also doesn't work. What are the results that you are creating that you don't want to keep replicating? What are you doing that's creating that? Take full responsibility of the results you don't want so that you can identify how you're creating that so you can stop doing that. Right? Like, this is a 2-pronged thing right here. Replicate what's working, stop doing what's not. And all of that is because you are creating the brain of a 100K earner that knows the difference. So we're really up-leveling your brain to be able to identify over the course of each of the 6 months of the Mastermind. The Mastermind is a 6-month-long program that you can re-sign into until you create that 100K that you want. You get closer to really developing that brain of the 100K earner that can tell the freaking difference between replicating what's working and stop doing what's not. And this is for the coach who believes that they can do this. That is not afraid to try all of the things. That is not afraid to. Like, what happens if you're like, but Amy, I've thrown a ton of spaghetti at the wall. I still can't figure out what's sticking, what's not sticking. Great. Then you are actually going to learn how to come up with, to brainstorm, to mastermind. This mastermind is going to have action line work. We're going to do strategizing because the A line has to be there. The action line has to be there to create that result. I love it, right? That really deep intellectual thought and feeling work combined with a really powerful what haven't I already tried work. It's experimentation at its finest. So you're not afraid to try all the things, and you are committed. You are committed to crossing that 100K mark. And you are not going to stop until you get there. Like, this is like determined, resourceful, resilient. This is what I have found that I can always come back to. At the end of the day, I know that I am always determined, resourceful, and resilient, and these are the qualities of my students that get there faster, further. And my role in all of this is I am your alchemist. We're going to mix what you see as ordinary, and we're going to create something extraordinary together. And we're going to do this through that deep undercurrent coaching, by dismantling patriarchal structures, by getting you aligned with your essential self and your soul's purpose. And in all of this, what I'm most excited about is how I myself have found a new level of freedom in my own business. You are witnessing a coach who is newly and completely unbridled. Like, visualize me as like a wild horse, but with a destination that she knows where she's going. The reins are off. And I would have told you that I've been very authentic in my business up until this point, is I have brought you my take to the world, but it's always been within another framework. And I have now thrown out that framework. This means throwing out rules and expectations and have-tos at a new and deeper level than ever before. This process is really like an onion, right? Like, there's just more and more layers. And I now have landed on this inner core of like, holy shit, this is channeling some serious fuck it energy. The funny thing is it's backed by evidence that I do know how to do this, and I do have clients that are doing it right now. Again, you are on your path to future you, but the path is going to be so much further and so much faster when we tear off the framework. It's like you can walk a mile with the weight shackled around your ankle, but you'll get there a hell of a lot faster if we take the fucking shackle off. And this is at the heart of Path to 100K. I have done this myself, and I have achieved massive success. I've made over $1.2 million as a life coach. That is nothing to shake a stick at. That is brilliant. That is fabulous. That is amazing. I honor every single person that helped me get here. I am so grateful and appreciative. And also, I've achieved it through another person's or multiple people's framework. And what if that framework actually kept me small? This blows our mind. We're like, but I achieved success, so clearly I'm not playing small. But what if you were able to achieve that success in spite of the framework, not because of the framework? I want you to stop playing small. I want to stop playing small together. You in? You coming with me? Let's do this. So listen, more details are coming, but know this. The doors open for the August round, the inaugural round of Path to 100K in June. Exact dates still to be determined. We are working on that literally as this podcast is coming on. The same week we're doing this, we are also making all of those details. Get on the wait list now. amylatta.com/mastermind. Be the first to apply when the details drop. I've changed a lot of the parameters for applying. I've changed a lot of the parameters for how you pay. I've changed a lot of the parameters. Everything is changing because the framework is gone. The structures have been dismantled. Let's fucking go. You coming with me? Get on the wait list now. amylatta.com/mastermind. And until next week, let's go get paid, coach. Coaches, I have created a brand new freebie offer just for you podcast listeners. I created a brand new training called Stop Overcomplicating Confidence because I see my coaches do it all the time, make this confidence thing way harder than it has to be. In this free training, you're going to learn exactly how you overcomplicate confidence, what's creating that, and how to stop it. Here's the best part. All of it, less than an hour. Less than an hour of your time. You will feel more confident in less than an hour, right? Yeah, friends, this is the best training I've ever done. So visit amylatta.com/podcast gift to get yours. Again, that's amylatta.com/podcast gift. Go now and feel more confident in just an hour. Thanks so much for listening to the Confident Coaches podcast.
I invite you to learn more. Come visit me at amylatta.com. And until next week, let's go do epic stuff.